Thank you for coming back and joining me. This is going to be basically working in the round. I'm going to show you how to work on double pointed needles. It will be casting on. We're going to go ahead and get started on that, but I'm going to include a free pattern. It's for this striped baby hat, and it's going to be in the description box. So we'll get started here, and there will be 3 tutorials in total. I'll do one on changing colors after this first one about working in the round, and then we'll do decreases and finishing as one as well. So actually, let me do this. So I'm going to be casting on. Okay, so here we have 14 stitches. I'm going to be working this hat on 4 double pointed needles, and I'm going to have 14 stitches on each one. Basically, you're going to divide the stitches evenly across how many ever needles you want, whether it's 3. Since I'm doing the preemie size, the preemie size is actually 56 stitches, and so I have to divide the stitches evenly. I figured it's 14 stitches on 4. So to make it easier, I'm doing that for you guys. I also tend to donate a lot of the hats to hospitals for preemies, so that's why I'm doing it preemie size. But basically, each needle will have 14. So now we're going to go for a new needle, but I find it easier if I throw a few stitches on and then transfer them to the next needle. I just find that it keeps the stitches more consistent. So I'm going to do 5 stitches here. And then I'm going to move these 4 stitches onto my right needle. Then we'll continue along. Just trying to make sure not to split the yarn. The twist in yarn, sometimes the way yarn is twisted, right-handed and left-handed, it will end up doing different things. Right-handed, usually you're fine. Left-handed, I find some yarns actually want to untwist when I'm knitting left-handed, depending on the degree of twist they have in it. So there's 5 stitches. So we continue. So that's 6, 7, 8, 'So now I have 14 stitches here as well, but since we're doing 2 more needles, I'm going to put 5 on and transfer to the next needle. So I'm going to go ahead and speed up this process. You have to forgive my slowness. I love my left-handed knitting, but the blanket I'm knitting right now is right-handed and going back and forth the first little bit. Okay, so we need our 5 stitches that we're going to transfer to our 4th needle. And you don't have to do it this way. I've known people that also cast on all the stitches at one time and then separate it. Okay. Yep, I just want to make sure I put 5 there since I wasn't counting at the end. So we need 9 more stitches, and then we're going to join it. This is the most fiddly part. Seven. Oops, let's split that yarn there. Take it from the beginning. I find it likes to untwist more as I do the left-handed cast on than anything else. Perfect. Okay. So for now, joining. Okay. So I need to show you something here. Okay. So basically, when we start knitting, we're going to start knitting on the very first stitch we did, but we want to make sure we don't twist our stitches. So if you look, see how it's a small ridge right here? You want that small ridge facing up all the way around. If you see this back more thick and lumpy ridge, like you see in this needle right there, then part of it's twisted. You want to have that nice smooth ridge facing you all the way around across all needles. Then I just put them down that direction while I pick up my new needle. And then we just start knitting. Now this particular hat pattern is a knit 2 purl 2 rib. So you're going to take the long end of yarn, and it feels fiddly at first, but I'm going into that very first stitch that we had. I'm going to do my yarn over and bring it through. Then we drop it off like a normal knit stitch. It just feels very awkward as you're first going into the first row. After that, it's a lot more smooth. So I knit 2, I bring the yarn forward between the needles, and then I'm going to purl 2. And then I'm going to knit 2. Hopefully I'm keeping in the frame the whole time. Sorry guys, I'm looking over the top of the camera because it feels weird looking at my hands through the viewfinder of the camera. But it gets much smoother. The second row in is much easier than the first row when there's not much on the needles. And I'll do a short tutorial after I finish this of just the knit 2 purl 2 rib by itself, just so we have it up there. But basically you take your yarn back when you're knitting 2, and you bring your yarn forward before you purl 2. So that's our very first needle. And to continue, you slide your next needle down, and we're going to be working off of the second needle, which is the next one to the right. And in the very beginning, as you're getting used to it, it feels like you're working with a porcupine here. I'm actually going to bring the needle here in front. I'm going to bring this needle back so you can see better. But we ended with knit 2 last time. So we start with purl 2. Oh, my needle fell out. Sorry, guys. I wasn't holding it while I grabbed the yarn here. It didn't feel so awkward doing this right-handed in front of the camera. I think I have to switch the angle of the camera towards my right instead of my left. So we just continue. Do that one more time. Just finished purling 2, so I take the yarn back to knit 2. And getting used to working with double pointed needles in the beginning, I always felt like I had a porcupine in my hands because of all the needles. But you're really only knitting on 2 needles at a time, so try not to be scared off by it. You could also work in the round on a circular needle as well. It doesn't have to be DPNs, but especially for baby hats, I prefer to work on DPNs because it could be as small as you want it to be, and you're not limited by the length of like a double pointed needle. Although it is possible to do something called double knitting, that you actually can do it on just 2 needles, and you're knitting. It's interesting. I'll try to show you guys sometime. So I'll do this one more time. So as we continue along, as soon as you end one needle, you just start on the next needle. So you're going in the circle to the right. So this is called knitting in the round. Last 2 was purl, so I start with knit. So the knitting is the exact same. It just takes a little bit to get used to working on double pointed needles. So the next tutorial is going to be on decreasing. Not decreasing, sorry, changing colors. Uh-oh. I just lost those. I'll have to put those back on my needles. I'm holding on to it too tight. Looked like that stitch came out of there. Oh, it came out of the last 2. It's always good for you guys to see that type of stuff happen, though, so you can just see me go in and repair it. Okay, so it looks like we had 1 purl one, so we finished the second. There we go. And I will be back as soon as I finish my knit 2 purl 2 rib. So I'm going to do a couple rows of this, and then we'll be back with changing color. I'm going to show you how to change color and then how to walk the color up on the inside of the hat so you don't have a million ends to weave in and have to change and cut colors each time. So I'll be back. Thank you so much again for joining me, and if you do want to knit these baby hats for my patterns and sell them, that's okay with me. If you want to share, please give people the link to either one of these videos or to the actual Google Doc itself. I have it public, so the link should be able to be shared by anyone. Thank you so much, guys. Bye.